This class is brought to you by the LA Care and Blue Shield Promise Community Resource Centers. The centers are a place to help you be active, healthy, and informed. We hope you enjoy this virtual class.
Hi, my name is Sonia Guzman. Thank you for joining me for this week's cooking class, where we are going to be talking about whole grains. Now, you might have heard about whole grains. You heard about the importance of making sure that we consume whole grains on a daily basis. You might have even heard about the benefits of whole grains, particularly the benefits that we get from eating whole grains because they provide fiber. So why is it that fiber is important to our health? Fiber provides a lot of benefits, particularly with our digestive system and also with disease prevention. Fiber helps us prevent some types of cancer. Fiber also helps us prevent heart disease, it helps us prevent diabetes, and it can also help us prevent obesity. The way that fiber helps prevent obesity and other diseases is that it actually takes longer to digest in the body. By taking longer to digest, it can help us feel fuller, and it can also help in slowing down the absorption of other foods such as those that contain sugar, benefiting us if we have health conditions such as diabetes. So what we are going to do today is we are going to see how fiber takes longer to digest in the body. We have here 2 slices of bread. We have a slice of white bread and we have a slice of whole wheat bread. And we have here orange juice. And what the orange juice is going to do is that it is going to simulate the acids that we have in our stomach. So I am going to place the bread into these bowls, and then I am going to add orange juice, just enough to cover the bread. So I'm going to do that now. And I want to add the same amount of orange juice. I shouldn't say that. So I went ahead and I added 1 cup of orange juice to each one of the bowls. And then I placed the whole wheat bread in the bigger bowl, or the bowl to my left. And I placed the white bread in the smaller bowl, or the bowl to my right. So we are going to let that soak for approximately 10 minutes, and then we are going to come back and we are going to see what happened to the bread. How do these breads, based on their amount of fiber, how do they react to the acids in the stomach? How quickly do they digest? So we will see you in 10 minutes. So we are back. It has now been 10 minutes that the bread has been soaking in the orange juice. So what I'm going to do is I am going to attempt to pick up the bread, remove it from the juice, and so you can see which one of the 2 breads has already fully digested and which one has not. I also invite you to stay with me after this experiment, where I am going to show you how to make your own oat milk, and we are also going to be making our own granola. And so again, today it's all about whole grains, and we want to make sure that we get these into our diet. We want to make sure that we are eating anywhere from 25 to 38 grams of fiber per day. So we can look at the different foods that we select. Those that are whole grain are going to provide us with more fiber. So let me show you the results of this experiment. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with the white bread. If I attempt to pick it up, you will notice that it is practically falling apart because it has already digested. And so white bread doesn't have any fiber, so it digests quickly. And if we were to eat these kinds of foods that don't have any fiber, these are the foods that are not going to help us feel full. And these are the foods, again, that are not providing us the benefit of fiber. Now this one here, if you notice, it has not fully digested. This bread here, it's still intact. I can still pick it up. It doesn't fall apart. So it's taking longer to digest because of the fiber. And again, this will benefit us by making us feel fuller longer, by helping us prevent overeating, and it will also help us prevent diseases such as diabetes, heart disease, and obesity. So let's go ahead now and move on to our first recipe. Let me show you how to make oat milk. Welcome back to our first recipe for today's talk on whole grains. And the recipe that we are going to make right now is oat milk. Now, oat milk can be used in place of regular milk. Obviously, it's not going to provide the same nutrients, but if for whatever reason somebody does not prefer regular milk, oat milk is a good substitute. So I'm going to go ahead and put on my gloves so that I can cook. Remember that it's important that we wash our hands, keep our hands clean after we've collected all of our ingredients. Now, oat milk is super simple to make. All we need to do is blend our ingredients. And the ingredients for today are half of a cup of oats, and this is whole oats. Make sure that you get the old-fashioned oats, not the steel cut, not the instant, not the quick cooking, but the old-fashioned oats. We have 1 cup of water, and we have 1 date, and you want to make sure that the date is pitted. So essentially, as I mentioned, all we are going to do is blend all of our ingredients. So I'm going to start by adding the water to the blender. I am now going to add the oats, and I am going to add the date. And now I just need to blend. And you want to make sure that you strain your milk. So we continue straining our milk, and here is our finished product. This is our oat milk. Now this can be kept in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. And once you strain your milk the way that we did, you also want to place it in the refrigerator. Then you let it get cold, and then you can go ahead and enjoy it however you like. I invite you to continue with us, and our next recipe, we are going to make our own granola. Welcome back to our second recipe for our class today on whole grains. What we are going to do now is make our own granola. So let's first start by going over the ingredients. For the granola, we have old-fashioned oats. Make sure that when you get your oats that they are old-fashioned. Make sure that they're not quick cooking, that they're not rolled, and that they're not instant. You want old-fashioned oats. We have butter. We have brown sugar, honey, oil, cranberries. Make sure they're the ones that don't have added sugar. And then we have slivered almonds. So let's go ahead and get started with making our granola. And the first thing that I am going to do is heat my oil on my skillet. So I'm going to turn on the skillet, and I am turning it to a low heat. I don't need it to be too hot. I just need it to get warm. So I'm going to let that warm up, and I am going to add my oil. And this is olive oil. And I'm going to cook my oats for approximately 5 minutes. So I just want them to start getting a little toasty, a little dark. So I'm going to cook them for about 5 minutes. So once they've gotten a little bit dark, a little bit toasty, we're going to go ahead and remove them from the pan, put them back in our bowl. And what we are going to do next is we are going to melt our butter. So we add the butter, let that melt, and this is unsalted butter. And once the butter has melted, we can go ahead and add our honey. And we can add the sugar. We let that cook and kind of become like a syrup. Once it melts completely and achieves the consistency of a syrup, then we can go ahead and add our granola back into the pan. And then we just mix it all together. I'm going to go ahead and turn it off. And I'm going to go ahead and place it on this plate. You can also use a tray, a bigger tray. If you have one, just kind of spread it out, let it cool a little bit. And at this point, we can go ahead and add the cranberries and the almonds. And we can mix it together. And it's ready to be enjoyed. And so with that, we have reached the end of today's presentation on whole grains. I hope you get to try the two recipes that we learned today, our own granola and our oat milk. And don't forget to make sure that you consume 25 to 38 grams of fiber per day. Thank you so much for joining me. We look forward to seeing you virtually again next week and at one of our resource centers as soon as we can. Until then, stay active, healthy, and informed.